Hi, this is blog number 3 for the week of the 19th to the 23rd. The day today is February 26th, and what we've kind of done this past week in class, since we had the Monday off, we only had Wednesday and Friday, it was a lot of just sitting with our groups and getting to kind of form ideas about what we want to do and what questions we kind of want to research and ask to go and teach the 6th graders digital media literacy. So what we've been doing is we've all chosen our kind of topics that we would like to focus on, and the one that I chose to focus on first was just teaching 6th graders in general. So I found I found 3 articles that really helped kind of encapsulate what we're trying to learn and what we're trying to realize, because I realized that obviously teaching 6th graders is definitely very different. And we were told, even though you might know something, the 6th graders are not going to know it. They're not going to take it as common sense. They're not going to take it as already having that predisposition. They don't know that. It's a lot of you tell them this and they will believe you on that. So it's a lot of influencing them because they don't really have kind of their own confidence to know what's correct, to know what's wrong, I guess, as much as we do now. They're not as self-sufficient. So, I chose this first article that is Teaching 6th Grade 12 Strategies That Work, and I just took notes on them, so when we do have our meeting with our group that we are having the 28th, which is a Wednesday, this upcoming Wednesday, I can go and I can explain what I've learned. So what I learned from this first article was that when you're teaching 6th graders, you want to show them, you don't want to tell them, because they're not going to really listen and take in as much as if you were actually showing them what to do, being a visual learner. And they need positive validation and approval. Organizational skills are needed to be taught. Teach note-taking. These are obviously just general information about teaching 6th graders. And then one that I thought was really great that I'm thinking we can definitely expand upon when we first meet them is relationships with students need to be built. So we found that you can have them to talk about their lives and your life to just kind of build a connection early on. And a suggestion was have them write journals about fun things they like or have done. And I definitely think this is going to be super important for us just because we are obviously coming in, the school year is already halfway done. And because of that, they're going to already have like predispositioned ideas and all of that kind of stuff. And they've already been in the middle school environment for half a year. So obviously like that can change kids, make them act different. They'll have their like established friend groups. They're established, oh, do they hate this teacher? Do they like this teacher? Then if they hate the teacher, they'll want to act out more. If they like the teacher, they'll want to be better. And it's all that kind of stuff. So us just coming into that environment, we are going to need to be able to have a relationship with the kids before anything is done. And I thought that was interesting. I was thinking of ideas where maybe we could, because a lot of the stuff that I also found was the students want to be engaged all the time. They want to be moving. They want to be doing stuff. They don't want to be lectured at. They don't want to be like bored. They have a short attention span. So I was thinking that we could do the journals like they suggested, and we can have them do something like prompts about their favorite school activities and games. And then we can even go and work in their favorite social media apps, like trends they like, blah, blah, blah. But since obviously they're little kids and a lot of kids don't like to write, we can just be like, you could write a few sentences, whatever, and then we could just take those in just so we can know about each of them. Because an example was, oh, like say a kid likes to play soccer, you can ask him about how his soccer game was, blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff to form connections. Then I also thought that we could maybe do some sort of digital game where it's we can maybe even do a Kahoot, because Kahoot's a digital game. They all probably have phones, they all definitely have computers, and it could be just about us as the teachers, because I know there are 5 of us, so it could be, an example would be this teacher and then a fact about them, and then they have to guess who based off of just appearances and blah blah blah. And then when they answer it, I know a picture can show up of that teacher doing the activity, just so they can kind of become more involved with us and allow us to tell them and speak to them about how social media might not be good for you, and it won't really feel as much of a lecture as if their parents were saying something or just a general adult. Because I definitely think from what I've been reading, if you do start to lecture them, that is when they go and they pull away and they're not going to listen and they're not going to do anything, and that will really not help us. And then just having a schedule and agenda, because they need structure. And obviously I was like, that would make sense for a regular classroom, but I'm not sure how we would enact that. But also, if we break up the things we're doing only into 3 parts and just write it down on the board, like, first thing we do is this, second thing we do is this, third thing we do, only 3 isn't a lot compared to if we were actually break it down into the smaller little segments. So if we do that, the kids can definitely pay attention and kind of be engaged in more parts that would be their favorite. So I was thinking we could also do that. But basically this entire week we've kind of just been brainstorming a lot as a group and just kind of been going off and doing our individual research. So that was the first article, and then the rest of them are similar. The second article is 10 things 6th graders want you to know. It's about building rapport, which is definitely something that I obviously think is very important, and especially just with my own personal experiences of having a little brother who was in 6th grade. I remember that obviously building rapport with the children is important to get them to trust you more. And then the last one's how to connect with students, 12 ways teachers can build relationships with their kids. So that's just kind of what I've been focusing on this week. Obviously, as a group, everyone's been doing kind of different things, but I do think that by really reading these articles and then explaining as a group together what we should do, we can definitely get a really good basis for how we're going to go into this.